Alright, hey everyone, it's Silver here. Today I'm gonna actually be making a video. We haven't been making videos lately, and there's various reasons for that I'm not gonna go into in this video. But I decided today that I'd do another little unboxing video. I got this in the mail the other day and didn't do anything with it the day I got it, but now I decided I'll do something. So, here it is. This is Rockman.EXE 4.5 Real Operation for the Game Boy Advance. It's a Japanese exclusive release for the Mega Man Battle Network series. I got it in box. It's not a part of the full set because it's supposed to come with something else. It's supposed to come with this thing here. To get it with that, it would have been an extra $80, and I wasn't going to do that for obvious reasons. So I just got the simple package. And this isn't necessary to play the game, it's just an added little feature. So I'm just going to assume that people watching this have some concept of the Battle Network series, but the game operates as if you are the net op rather than the net navi. So the purpose of this game is to make it feel like you're the one in control, you're the net op, and your Game Boy Advance is supposed to be the PET. Now, like I said, the game was only released in Japan. I'm not sure why it was never translated. However, there are some references to it in Double Team DS, which is a remake of Battle Network 5 for the DS. If you use an action replay to remove the region locking for the Game Boy Advance games in the second slot and plug this in, it will recognize it and call it by name Mega Man Battle Network 4.5. So it seems at some point they were planning to translate it but never did. So, like I said, I got it here in the box for about $30. It usually goes for $130, and that sometimes includes a little accessory. So you'll have to bear with me because I'm using one hand. So let's just take a look at this on the inside. Yeah, like I said, I'm using one hand here, so you have to give me a moment. Okay. Alright. So, here's the cartridge. It came in some wrapping. This is what it looks like. Now, I'm going to be showing some gameplay of it. I've got my DS here that's been modified so I can record it on my computer. So we'll be taking a look at that in a minute. So, here's the cartridge. It's actually an official cartridge. It's kind of hard to see, but there's most fakes. It will not have the word Nintendo written on the motherboard in the inside, and though it doesn't get picked up on my camera very well, but it is written on the inside. And the word Nintendo, though it may seem a little blurry, is spelt correctly, which is another sign of a fake cartridge, as if the word Nintendo is spelt incorrectly. And yeah, the cartridge is in good shape. There is something I'll have to do with the game later that I'll get to in a moment. Simple little product registration pamphlet that comes with most Japanese games. Not really too worried about it in the slightest. And then here's the manual. There's a little Mr. Prog on the back there. Goes over some simple things, you know, like how the game works and everything, what you'd expect in the manual. Yeah. Now, I didn't go over this when I was looking at it, but you might have noticed the box is actually very small. The Japanese boxes are small in comparison to the North American boxes. I don't have a North American box to show in comparison, but this, like, my hand is pretty large, and it's about as large as my hand. So, yeah, so it came with all of this. Came with the manual, the game, and everything. So, let's quickly take a look at this. So, because the DS is not region locked, I can play it just fine. And I will be switching to actual decent quality in a moment. So don't worry if this is a little annoying to watch, because later I'll be switching to the computer. And so here it is. And I did mess around earlier, and as you can see, it's my save file, and before I continue, I'll actually switch over to recording on the computer so the quality will be a bit better. So just give me a moment. Alright, so here we are back at the title screen, for good reason. So, I've got the DS set up and everything. The game is being recorded. The audio is not, because I can't do audio and can't do the game audio and my microphone at the same time. It's a little annoying to explain, so I won't be getting into it. So, the top option here is New Game, Continue, and Change Time. The way this game works is most things run on the real-time clock, and so basically there's tournaments you can participate in that happen in real time. So this is used if this game gets off track from the real clock, or you enter time or daylight savings, so on and so forth. So I'm actually going to start a new game. So right off the bat, it's currently asking me if I want to confirm to save over my new file, or my other file. So here it's asking for the date. So at the time of this recording, it's 11:34 on the 31st. So let's go up. And it's giving some information about the PET, and then it's just asking you for your name. So I'm just gonna then it's asking you if you're male or female. I'm gonna choose male, and then I'm gonna say I'm 20 years old. And then here it's asking you what you do, for a living. I'm gonna choose this because this is freelancer, and we're gonna go. And then here it asks you what Navi you want to use. Now if you use that chip gate, which is the thing on the back of the box I was showing off earlier, you can scan physical battle chips to unlock characters. But I don't have the chip gate or any of the chips, so I'm just going to choose Mega Man. And so, this is the game. There's more to this, obviously. So this is the main menu of the entire game. You got your tournaments, you got jack in, you got equipment, library, email, communication, and save. So you may notice at the top of the screen it's saying it's 000 at 00 o'clock. That's because the internal battery in the game is dead, which is the thing I mentioned earlier that I need to deal with. It's a very simple fix, and once I do that, the game will be working just fine. But real-time events will not occur, so I can't participate in tournaments. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click here, which is jack in, and this is where the typical overworld of the Battle Network games kicks in. You start at your home page. You can talk to this prog to change your information. And let's go out here. And this is where the tutorial kicks in. So this, as I mentioned, you play as the net op, not the Navi. So the game explains how things are going to play differently in this. So a gold prog is teaching you how to play. The first screen was what enemy you want the Navi to target. This is how many squares away you want your Navi to stay. So like this, I'd want him to stay 1 square away from the Met at all possible times. If the Met is too far away or the enemy is too far away, he will just hug the nearest square to him. So I'm going to tell him to stay 3 blocks away. So the custom gauge at the top, normally in typical Battle Network games when it fills, you'd be able to have access to your chips and choose them and be ready for battle. In this game they act as, I don't know, kind of like MP, where the amount of gauge is used up when you choose a chip. So, like for example, a normal battle chip uses 20% of the gauge, a Navi chip uses 50% of the gauge, and a Giga chip uses all of the gauge. So it's just managing that. So here's explaining how the chips work. So let's just skip that. So you can use left and right to choose the chip. Your Navi will automatically move and dodge at the best of its abilities. L is to enable a shield, which uses some of the custom gauge there. And R is to enable the Navi to fire on its own. And then you can hit L or R again to stop it. So I'm going to choose the battle chip and see how he immediately did it. So do that. And let's just use the mega chip real quick. And there we go. And that's how the combat in this game works. So that's it. It gets pretty frustrating sometimes because the game does know how to react in certain situations against various enemies. So it does a pretty bad job sometimes of holding up, but for the most part it does a good job. And I suggest that you all check this game out, at least to some extent. There is a very, very buggy English translation online. If you want to check that out, you can go to the Rockman.EXE zone.com. A link will be in the description. And there's a translation for the chips, but no translation for the text, like the conversations. The translation actually bugs out the conversations, and so they don't even appear in decent Japanese. They end up being like annoying symbols and random jumbles of letters and things, so it's even harder to read. But the chips are translated, so that's something if you're interested in that. They also add the ability to play as Starman.exe, which came with the game. If you got it with the chip gate, you'd get the chip to play as Starman.exe, but obviously you can't do that if you're playing on an emulator, so the patch just includes them. So that's just gonna conclude this. I'll probably do another video on this when I fix it and get the new internal battery in. But I just wanted to share this for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed, and hope you check the game out, and thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.